Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you. My name is Anshul Tiwari. I'm the founder of Youth Ki Awaaz, which is India's largest digital media platform for young Indians to speak up on issues that they feel passionately for. We also conduct surveys and research, a lot of them with the Observer Research Foundation themselves. And a recent one that we did is called Youth Bites, where we tried to understand what is it that young India feels about their usage of the internet, how they use it, how they see the future of it, and so on. Just to give you a brief overview, we surveyed about close to 4,000 people, and the survey ran primarily in English and Hindi. The number of people who took the survey in English were about 2,700, and the rest, about 1,000 or so, took it in Hindi. And the reason why we segregated the audience in English and Hindi is because the trends are actually very different for the two audiences. While there are similarities, the usage patterns and the expectations that young Indians have really change when you go, further diverse into languages. We tried to understand how many young people started using their devices before the age of 17 and after the age of 17. For English-speaking audiences and audiences that primarily use English as a mode of communication, almost 54% respondents have started using their phones or other devices before the age of 17, whereas for Hindi audiences, close to 80% people did not use their phones before the age of 17. They started using it after the age of 17. The primary usage of the internet came out as social media, followed very closely by audio and video. But when we further went into it, we figured that social media is actually only being used for connecting with friends. The biggest use of the internet is actually for news and information, for study and work. So even other uses of social media for study and work emerged as one of the primary uses that young Indians are using the internet for. Very quickly, we understood what will they use it for in the 5 years, coming forward. The English and the Hindi audiences had very different usage patterns. Again, what they hope to use it for. The English audience primarily wants to use it for Internet of Things, applications and applicability of the internet on other devices, whereas the Hindi audience primarily wants to use it for social media and for connecting with friends and gathering a lot more information using social media platforms. One very interesting factor was how often are young people on their devices? And a very interesting attached question was how much time do they imagine their children spending on their devices? We figured that almost 88% of our respondents spend 2 to 5 hours daily, but 70% of our respondents do not want their children to spend more than 2 hours a day on the internet or on mobile devices. So that's very interesting because our primary audience were all under 29, that we surveyed. Immediately after that, we figured that at the age of 30, the respondents would like to make a deliberate attempt to go off the internet. Largely, 60% of the English respondents felt that they need to go off the internet actively and they don't want to spend so much time online, whereas 72% of the Hindi audience felt that they want to spend as much time as possible on the internet without worrying about any consequences or being conscious about it. Bullying and cyber stalking was another very big topic, and while 66% of our respondents felt that they haven't ever been bullied online, it still emerged as the second biggest malicious use of the internet according to our respondents. Talking about the most malicious use of the internet, we figured that, closely before cyber harassment and stalking was misinformation and fake news. But if you see the pie chart in front of you, you'll realize that only 6.8% felt that the internet can be used for manipulation of the Indian election process, whereas close to 50% people felt that misinformation and fake news is one of the biggest malicious uses of the internet. A lot of our audience transacted online or have been transacting online, and almost 55% of them feel worried about losing their money online, but not enough to stop making online transactions. About 35% people feel that they are perfectly safe, but 10% people clearly said that they will leave all online modes of transactions in the next couple of years. Um, we also found out how much of a person's online life is affecting their offline life. And we figured that almost 42% of our respondents felt that there was no difference, but 33% felt that their life online was making them even more lonely offline in the real world. But 23% emerged as people who've been able to expand their networks tremendously because of their presence and existence online. This report is now live on the ORF website, and we'd love for you to all access it. It's got a lot more data. It's got a lot more intersections about usage patterns, about how different people who speak different languages see the internet, view different types of technology and their usage. And we'd love to have you access it and also get your feedback on it. Thank you.